This is Thomas Bindig, and he will show you CPET testing, how it works with Geraterm and Poly-Spectrum-8. So Thomas, welcome to our chat, and I will let you start your presentation now.
Thank you very much, Feder. So thank you very much, Feder, and I want to say welcome to everybody around the world to our web seminar. This time that is our first webinar what we have, and I hope you will like and enjoy it. So let me see if everyone see my presentation. So what Feder shows us and Maxime was that the Poly-Spectrum is a really, really powerful software with a very great hardware. And I think in any cardiologic department, in any hospital, they need a powerful system like that. And I'm very happy that we all together work together to find a very cool interface together. Before we start to show you how the interface works and how our product works and how you can make a very fast interpretation, I want to explain a little bit about Geratherm-Respiratory. Geratherm-Respiratory is a part of a group. Our mother company has a patent of non-mercury glass thermometer, and at the moment, of course, they are growing as well. They work 24 hours, 7 days a week to produce thermometers. Of course, we have also everything what is related for home care, blood pressure, and women care. We have another company in our group who works for patient warming system that will use during a lot of surgeries when you have AAA patients that have long-term surgeries, and it will be used also for rescue, especially in ski areas. They use it to warm up patients after they have trauma and they have to be transported to any hospital. We have one other company in our group. They only work with stroke risk analysis, and I think that is very familiar to all of our products. And of course, the Geraterm-Respiratory. We are a manufacturer of spirometer, of pulmonary function equipment, and of course of CPET tests.
Thomas, can I interrupt you for a second? Can you switch on to the full screen?
You don't have full screen?
Yeah, I just see PowerPoint with all your.
Really?
Minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Yes, yes. Normally it should work. You have it now?
Yes. Perfect.
Perfect. I'm very sorry for that. Okay. So let us go back to the Geraterm-Respiratory. We have, of course, a small spirometer. That is the simplest way to make analysis of vital capacity. We have it as desktop version. Then we have the complete product portfolio for pulmonary function tests, like body plethysmography with our body stick and diffusion with our diffuse stick. And of course, we have cardiopulmonary exercise test. Everything goes in one software that is the heart and the basement of our product that is called Blue Cherry. And with Blue Cherry, we will have, of course, then the connection, the software interface to the Poly-Spectrum from Neurosoft. So Blue Cherry is based on an SQL database. You can use the Blue Cherry in a network with more than 250 clients. That is very important for hospitals because they are more and more integrated in big networks, and they want to have everything on any working place. They want to see all the documentation and all information. Of course, for that we have GDT interfaces, HL7 interfaces. Our software making automatically interpretation. Everything is fully fitted to the latest ERS and ATS guidelines, of course. We have an integrated user management that is very important, especially for hospital, that maybe nurses are only allowed to make measurement examinations, and the doctors only can change something in the measurements later, and so on. We have an XLM export, and of course, much, much more. So when we go to our software, to the Blue Cherry, one of our philosophy is, like I shall say that always, one of my hero and visionary was Steve Jobs. He died very, very early, and his philosophy was, when he showed us in 2007 the first time the first smartphone, the iPhone 1, and he said, when you want to use one software, you only have to take it one time, and then you can use all the other software, because it will always the same way how to use it. When we started our Blue Cherry, we also said that is the best philosophy. When you make a normal spirometry test with our Stick, for example, then it is very easy to handle. But this easy handling, we also want to have it in the body plethysmography, in the resistance, in the diffusion, and in the CPET. That means also when you use one part of our software, it is very easy to understand the other part of our software. That is the philosophy of our Blue Cherry. So I will show you how the system can look like. Fedor showed us that, of course, for any stress test, you need a bike or a treadmill. There's also other possibilities, but that is the basement. To make an exercise, you need an exercise device. So, and mostly when you work with the CPET system, you need to do a monitoring system where you have on one side the ECG and on the other side the Blue Cherry. That means here Poly-Spectrum and the Blue Cherry software on the other side. Our device is very, very small. It fits on any card, and it is very easy to handle. You have only in the front 3 connectors, 2 for the flow unit and 1 for the gas unit. Everything is marked with different colors. And so it is also very, very easy for you to make the connection. You as dealer, for you it's only important how fast and how easy you can train your customers. So one other very important point is when you work with the CPET system, you analyze or you measure gas, and gas is related to ambient condition. For that, we have a special device called Ambient Stick. The Ambient Stick makes an automatically measurement of the temperature, the pressure, and the humidity constantly. That means during the measurement, all changes in the room or where the measurement will be done goes directly to the Blue Cherry software and will be used as parameter. Why it is so important? When you use it, not you have only standard data maybe from the morning, or the system measure it nearby the PC or by other devices can be affected of temperature and humidity, you will get wrong results. And for that, we have a USB device with a docking station, that means with a long cable, and you will take this Ambient Stick to a special place where it is not infected from other devices, also like air conditioning. So that is part of any of our CPET system, and it will be delivered with it. So the next point is, of course, to have a flow sensor to measure the inspiration and expiration air. It's very important, and for that you need to work very, very accuracy and of course linear. When you breathe in very strong, especially on high ventilation, not all of the flow sensor, you can get a linear. We have a special membrane inside who opens during fast breathing, and with that we make it mechanically linear, and we don't have to calculate the linearization of a flow sensor. So this flow sensor, what we have is very, very light. He has a very small dead space. It is not infected from humidity and salvia, and you can let it fall down. It will not break, and then it is also not so sensitive. That is a very important point. Okay, as we spoke, and Fedor did a very good presentation about that, the basement of a good CPET system is always the ECG, because in any hospital, in any cardiologic department, they will make at first stress test. And from time to time, they will make CPET. Of course, in a lot of departments, they make every test as CPET test, but it is also mostly that they make a CPET test or an ECG test, and later maybe with this patient a CPET test. That means for the nurses, for the people, it's very important to have a good and easy to handling, powerful ECG. And I think with Poly-Spectrum, we have the best tool for that. So when we want to start a CPET test, at the moment it is like that. You start the Poly-Spectrum and you will start the blue cherry. The master is always the Poly-Spectrum. You will take the patient information in, or you get it from DICOM HL7, wherever, directly in the ECG, and then you will start the test. When the blue cherry is opened, automatically the data will be transferred from the Poly-Spectrum to the blue cherry, and we have all data like name of the patient, patient ID, age, weight, and height, and all this very important parameter. When the blue cherry is not started, then for the system, it is only like it will be a stress test. In the next version, it will be much more easier. Then when you select in the Poly-Spectrum, you can select also, I want to do a CPET test, not a stress test. I want to do a CPET test. And then when you start, automatically blue cherry will be start, and the patient data will be transferred also to the blue cherry. So that is how easy it is for your customers, for the nurses, how to start a test. So I showed now a little bit about CPET overview, how easy is to make an analysis, or how easy the blue cherry is. Here you can select different views. When you made a test, 2 or 3 different tests over the day, you can select here the different tests from the patient. Print out one of the philosophy of the blue cherry is what you see is what you get. I will show that later in the blue cherry. That means when you change something in the blue cherry view and you want to print it out, you only go to print, and exactly what you see is what you get on the paper. So you can recalculate any position of any cursors. The system make an automatically analysis, but if you think the system make it not right, you can change everything very fast and very simple. So, and of course, you can bring events in when you make, for example, lactate measurements during the test. You can bring that also later in. You don't have to bring all values during the test. So, we can analyze any threshold, like anaerobic threshold, like VO2 max. We can give all different parameters as you want. Everything is very easy to handle, very flexible and individual for the needs of the customer. We can change everything in the blue cherry. And of course, all data in any sheet can be also transferred directly in Excel by drag and drop. So then we can make you changing data during test. I will show that when we go directly to the Blue Cherry. Everything, of course, is a breath-by-breath system, but we can also average everything, that you don't have so many numbers, that you can get average data for every minute or whatever. Very simple to use. During the preparation phase, of course, canceling a test, you can make also zero adjustment when sometimes the flow sensor gets some drift. You make a zero adjustment again, and very simple, the system goes then to zero again. Enter test options. That is, because of the dead space, you have to take in what kind of mask size you use to give the system the information of the dead space of the mask. You can take every time comments in, and of course you can record a flow volume loop. That is very important for a test. And of course, then you can go to start the test. So during the test, you can always cancel. You can give on any stage. You can take a comment in if you want. Some customer wanted to have it. Patient feel good. It's a little bit similar like to Borg scale. You can always take a Borg scale in. Blood pressure manually, of course, also automatically. We work with all our systems together, like from treadmill or, of course, Tango Plus, etc. All these devices, we can have a connection to it. You can take blood gases in, like O2 and CO2, gut bladder, and lactate measurement. You can take some other events in, make tidal volumes, and start the load. So one of the very good thing, or especially for new customers, they have not so much experience in cardiopulmonary exercise test. We have a wizard. The wizard will help the customer step by step to find the anaerobic threshold, to find the RCP, the respiration compensation point, and all the other points on a very, very easy way. So we have different possibilities to determine a threshold. We have graphic to identify the anaerobic threshold. So everything helps, especially customers, they are not with so many experience, to make a very, very good interpretation. So also the Blue Cherry has for CPET test, you know, we have not only the customer who want to know exactly, is it more a cardiologic problem what the patient has, or the pulmonologic problem what the patient has. That means to make a differential diagnostic. We have also a lot of customers from the sport field. Nikolai showed us that very interesting how many sport Olympic committees have ECGs, and they want to do, of course, also CPET test. And for that, we need also tools for them to make a training plan specified from the CPET test, and to make a special training. Everything is directly integrated in the Blue Cherry. So then we can make, of course, the patient, or then the subject will get a training plan with different training zone. Everything can be flexible, done by the nurses, or by the doctor, or by the sport trainer, and can change everything. And then later the subject will get, the sportsman will get a good paper, what training zone he has to train, what is, for example, the heart rate, what has happened in this training zone, how is there his specific O2, and of course, if he burns there, what kind of energy, like fat or carbohydrates. So some other point that will be used not only in the adipositas field, that means in when patient want to reduce weight. This point will be also used very, very often in cancer studies. Why? Because to make a Lipo test, it's very important to see when, for example, a cancer burn more carbohydrate, the patient will burn also in resting or on low level a lot of carbohydrate. And then when we know this patient has cancer and we see that he burned extremely more carbohydrate than normal, that show us that this cancer is based on carbohydrate energy. And when I reduce then his nutrition to give him less carbohydrate, more fat and more protein, it will reduce the growing of cancer. There are a lot of studies in that, and in a lot of oncologic departments, they will use it. So that is also a good target group for us to sell CPET systems. Okay, at first, I want to say thank you that you can listen, that you listen to us. I will change now to the blue cherry. You see here this picture from 1972. That was one of the first CPET system. It was in the laboratory of Mr. Wassermann. He died 4 weeks ago. He died, and okay, he had a really good life. He was very old, but I was very happy that I could see also in his facilities this old devices there. He showed me that, and that was very, very interesting. So you see now how CPET system looks now. And I will switch now shortly to, 1 second, to where we are, here we are. So to our CPET system. Here is now the system. I start the system running, and it is finished now. I can save it here. We are now in the Blue Cherry software inside. 1 second. So, and then we can directly make an analysis. Here, the good thing is, that is a test from today, what I made right now during we start our webinar, that here is the test. And I did yesterday a test with this patient. And, okay, and there was also a test from 2008. So when you select one patient, you can go very fast from one examination to another examination. And of course, when you want to change something, when you, for example, go in the Blue Cherry software on the panel 3, where we see our O2, that is the blue line, and the CO2, you can see immediately the parameters, the blue line here, that are the predicted value. And we see at the moment, this patient has more oxygen uptake than on his predicted value, and with the CO2 as well. To change the thresholds, it's also very simple. You only take them and you can move them to the position where you think it should be, and all parameters will be recalculated. So double click again, you see the 9 pendulum plot. If you want to write a comment, you can go here. And of course, the system will help you also with an automatically interpretation in the beginning when you have not so much experience. So the system will help you step by step for an interpretation with all the numbers, and you can see later also then the result from the system, what the system said. That is based on Wassermann, on his book, How to Make an Automatically Interpretation. So you can change the view very fast. That are basic views, but if you want to have individual views, you can change everything to your individual needs. I can go shortly to interpretation. That is also very simple. You see all parameters. When you want to change the parameters, you go only to tables. Here are all parameters. You can change the position there. Why I show you that? That is what you can do in all parts of our software. You can add a parameter, maybe VO2 on rest, take it in, accept, take it in, and then we have here also VO2 on rest. The system make an automatic interpretation. Let us go, for example, to the load, the predicted value here and the result. The system says low and it shows us red. So we see again some graphics, we see the numbers, but when you think that is okay for this patient, you can go also to normal, accept, and then it is on normal, the system change everything, and the system understands that high can be positive and can be also negative, depends on the parameter. So here you can make very fast an interpretation. When you print it out, you will get it exactly how you see it. Okay, that was a short overview about Geratherm-Respiratory, about the software interface and how the Blue Cherry works, and especially the CPET system works. I hope it was a little bit interesting for you. Maybe we can make a next web seminar with more details, that especially on your question, what comes later, that we can go on a special course, on a web webinar, where we can work with the Poly-Spectrum and the Blue Cherry together. I will give now the word back to Nikolai and say thank you for listening.